Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Beer News. Now, I included some beer news sometimes in my videos and kind of give little updates and things like this, but there's quite a lot of interesting things that are happening in the beer industry. There's also a lot of crap, I'll be totally honest, a lot of rubbish, a lot of boring crap that, I'm sure most people are uninterested. I know I am, and I don't think people would want to kind of read it, never mind actually see a video about it. So what I'm doing with this is to try out a new kind of format of having some beer news and some of the more kind of interesting stuff that's going on, and I can also give you some of my views of what I think about this news as well. So I'm keeping it as a separate video because obviously if some people are wanting to kind of see a beer review, they're more interested in that and they might not want the news kind of included in that. So what I've done is I thought I'll do it as a separate video and see what people think, and if they choose to watch it then great, if they choose not to watch it then that's fine, but it just gives you a kind of update of what's actually happening. So this is going to be the first one. I don't know whether it's going to be weekly, fortnightly or just monthly. I think it depends on what news is coming out. If there's a bit of a kind of slow month, then it'll probably be monthly. If there's maybe quite a lot of things happening that's coming out, then it might become more regular, just depending on the amount of news and the amount of things to report from that point of view. Now, I've got a kind of list there that I'll go through, but I wanted to give an update because previously in a video I mentioned that there's a celebration ale coming out by Timothy Taylor, and I'm sure they've done this ale before for other different celebrations, but they're bringing out a celebration ale because of the coronation that's happening in the UK, so it's the coronation of the new monarch, and this is going to be sold from their website in bottles, and it'll also be available in cask in pubs that basically supply their products on tap. So it's a case where you've got two options. You can buy it from the website or you can buy it in kind of Timothy Taylor supplied pubs. There you go. What I did notice was though that I was actually thinking about getting a bottle to review, and the cheapest option was I could buy a 2-bottle pack with a commemorative glass. So, and they wanted 25 quid for that. So it was two basically 5-litre bottles and this kind of glass with a little bit of inscription and kind of decals on it. You think, you thieving buggers, so he's 25 quid, extortion. So I'll be totally honest, I won't be buying that unless they're maybe trying to kind of sell off some of the excess in the supermarket that I might get down here. I don't know if I can get to a Timothy Taylor supplied pub kind of fairly local, and I might go and try it on cask. But just thinking though, you thieving buggers, 25 quid, seriously, my God, have a look at yourself for God's sake. But anyway, they're not the only culprits going by the news. So there we go, here we go, what's been happening. So, funnily enough, we've got Iron Maiden in the news, and they've got a collaboration and it's called, the Trooper Ale. Well, they're doing a 10th anniversary kind of celebration of this collaboration with their Trooper Ale, and they're now doing Trooper X, X being the Roman numeral for 10. So they're going to be coming out with Trooper X, which is going to be a higher strength beer than the normal one. It's going to be a 10% alcohol by volume. It's going to be available through the Iron Maiden website to buy. I don't know how many bottles are going to be available, but I'm sure they're going to say it's a limited number to try and get people to panic buy. And I'm sure it's going to be the bargain of the century, because I'm telling you, any celebration coming from any kind of celebrity collaboration, it's always a bargain. It's always good value. Still drinking, by the way. I'm using this to get rid of my excess beer that I've done the reviews, but I've had to buy multiple packs just to get one to do a review, so it's giving me a chance to get rid of some of this stuff. So yes, but another kind of brewery's cashing in, and it's the St Austell Brewery, funnily enough. It's a local brewery quite close to us, and they've got a quite a popular ale, which is basically the tribute ale, basically, and they're bringing out a special tribute ale to celebrate the coronation, and it's going to be 7.4%. Woo! And apparently, that's in how would you say it's in commemoration of the age of the new monarch, because apparently Prince Charles, or King Charles the Third, I think he's going to be, is 74 on the day of his coronation, so they're making it 7.4% as a kind of commemorative tribute to him. There you go. And they are putting a royal price on it, I would say, because they're charging 65 quid for 12 bottles, and I think they're only 500ml bottles. So there you go. Oh, that was another thing, just as I remember, the Trooper X is going to be a 660ml bottle. Oh, there you go. The gift that just keeps on giving, eh? Good old Iron Maiden, eh? Bring your daughter to the slaughter. Eh? Anyway, so yeah, 65 quid for 12 bottles of this special tribute, celebrationary ale for the coronation. You thieving buggers, seriously. 65 quid for 12 bottles? My God, it must be bloody good. And even if it is bloody good, still wouldn't be spending that money on it. So there you go, because I'm not mad, and I'm not that stupid, from my point of view. But if anybody is interested, and maybe you're a big fan of tribute, I don't mind it. It's an alright beer, but it's like dog piss round about here. Every street corner's got a stain of it. You know what I mean? Every pub seems to be a tribute pub in some ways, even if they're not affiliated with St Austell and things like that brewery. Quite a lot of even the freehold pubs stock it and that type of stuff. It's alright. I don't mind it, but yes, I've had better in my view, from that point of view. So I certainly wouldn't be spending £65 for 12 bottles, no matter how bloody special it is. And there's more to come, because apparently Shepherd Neame, which is the UK's oldest brewery at present, so basically they're now coming out with a limited edition ale that will be among a series of commemorative ales for the coronation. Now these will only be on cask, and the limited edition one supposedly is going to be 4.8%, and it'll only be available in pubs that are supplied by the Shepherd Neame Brewery. So it's a case as though I think most of them will be around about the kind of Kent area, but there may be some kind of maybe over towards Sussex area and maybe going into Surrey. I don't really know. Might even get as far as Hampshire, but I think it's a case as though it's going to be a kind of limited run anyway, just because of which pubs will be getting it. But none of these commemorative trio of ales will be sold in bottles or cans. It's going to be cask only. So there you go. So again, I can't really give you the price. Now, something that's not a commemorative ale for the coronation is the Camden Town Brewery. And if you don't know them, they're part of the kind of the Camden Hells kind of fame. And they've launched a new hazy IPA called Easy. Yes, it only was. But yes, they've now basically done a hazy IPA called Easy, and it's a 5%. And if you buy it from the website, you can get 12 little baby cans, little 330ml cans, you know, little teensy ones, and they'll charge you only £18 for that. You thieving buggers. There seems to be a kind of a trend here of thieving buggery. I mean, seriously. But yes, so you can have the little baby cans, 12 of them, little 12, for £18. But Sainsbury's, a supermarket in the UK, has exclusive rights to it for a certain period. And if you want to buy it in your local supermarket, your only option right now is Sainsbury's, and you can get 4 of the little baby cans, again 330 milliliter cans, for £6. So there you go. So if you really want a bit of hazy IPA that tastes easy, goes down easy, there you go. Get in there. I don't know, I might get round to reviewing it, but trust me, it's not a high priority on my list, and it might never be. But we'll see. I try to kind of avoid kind of Camden Town brewery. I think it's more hype than substance in my brew. Now, also, the 5 Point Brewing Company has announced that they're now launching a gluten-free XPA, and it's going to be a 4% beer. So if you are kind of gluten intolerant and you want to add another gluten-free beer to your options, then the 5 Point Brewing Company is doing an XPA. So that's something to kind of look out for in your local supermarkets, and try it and see what it's like. I haven't really done many kind of gluten-free beers for review. I really should probably do a bit more. Just because, well, it's becoming more of a kind of an issue for quite a lot of beer drinkers. Some of the younger ones and even some of the older ones are now struggling with the effects of gluten on their systems. So anyway, I'm not going to say anything bad about that, but I will say that if you take anything out of any product, regardless what it is, it usually has some sort of effect, and not always positive, I'll be totally honest. So they might lose a bit of flavour, but if it makes it more enjoyable in the long kind of run, then I can understand from that point of view. Now we have a festival information. So apparently London's craft beer scene, which I'm sure is huge, yes, the crafty beer drinkers of Shoreditch. Anyway, London's craft beer scene is gearing up for a major celebration. Are they shutting down? No. Be nasty, aren't I? I shouldn't be nasty to these little crafty men and women. But yes, having a major celebration as the London Brewers Alliance, which is abbreviated as the LBA, brings back its legendary LBA festival on the 17th of June. And it's going to be involving 50 London breweries and more than 100 different beers, set to feature at the historic Fuller's Griffin Brewery down near the Chiswick Roundabout on the A4. There you go. So if you're round about that area, or you're really into your craft beers, then that could be a date for your diary, which is the 17th of June, and it's going to be at Fuller's Griffin Brewery. If there's any more information, which I'm sure will be released closer to the time, because this is just the end of April, then of course I will kind of supply it, even though I will not be attending the thing myself, because I can't think of anything worse than being in a room full of crafty beer drinkers all creaming their panties over hops, hops and hops. That's why I didn't go to the biggest Southwest beer festival, because they're now basically turning into a craft beer festival rather than just a beer festival. And I mentioned it in a previous video. Well, apparently the 2 winning beers, if anybody's interested, this is the Maltings Festival based in Newton Abbot. The 2 main championship beers that won the kind of awards were from the same brewery and Cornish brewery, and they were both basically heavily hopped beers. I think one was described as buckets of hops, and the other one was described as a citrafest. So again, buckets of hops, and most of them American. There you go. So take from that what you will, but I'll be leaving it. Not for me. Right. And we have a bit of an interesting one, and it involves the Bearded Brewery. Now apparently the Bearded Brewery has got themselves into a little bit of hot water, because they released a new beer, and well, things haven't gone quite well for the new beer offering. Apparently retailers have been asked to stop placing orders for the Bearded Brewery's new ale, which they decided to call the Unshaven Maiden. And after it was found to have an indirect association with sexual activity and causing widespread offence, they've been basically told that they can't sell it. So, the retailers who obviously are looking to stock it and want to stock it and aren't put off by the name have been told don't bother putting orders in because they won't be able to actually fulfill these orders. So there you go. So, political correctness gone mad again. Why are they politicising things? At the end of the day, maybe not the best name, but I can assure you, if I was running a brewery, then all of my products would be named a heck of a lot worse. I can guarantee I would be doing a beer called Filthy Piss Water. I can guarantee if I was a brewery, I would be doing a lager called Filthy Piss Water. And I would put on the label, Berry Carling-esque. And goes well with a spicy burrito. But anyway, so yes, that's just a bit crazy, isn't it? But yes, I suppose Unshaven Maiden, I suppose, well, it's not the worst name in the world, and I certainly wouldn't say it's really that offensive, but hey, this is the world we live in. People are offended so easily. And apparently, we've all to basically bow down to people's offence. So if they're offended by things, we have to bow down to it and say, oh, we're so sorry. Apart from we can't say, grow a spine and get over it. Mad this world, isn't it? 65 quid for blooming 12 bottles, and apparently people are offended by an Unshaven Maiden as the name of a product. There we go. I'd probably do a Canadian lager called Hairy Beaver as well, but that's just a peccadillo of mine. But anyway, another thing is in the news that's kind of been back and forward this month, and really did start right at the very start of this month, and has kind of grown horns and developed momentum and everything else, and it's gone a bit crazy. And that's Bud Light. Now, I've not mentioned much about Bud Light, due to the fact is I don't really want to get involved in it, but apparently, if you don't know, Bud Light decided to change their advertisement kind of campaign and use a kind of social media influencer. And yeah, well, it kind of backfired because it offended their kind of core customer base for Bud Light, and there's been a backlash. And of course, some kind of celebrities as well in the US is kind of they've come out and nailed their colours to the mast, saying that this is unacceptable and blah 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 and all this type of stuff, and all hell's broken loose. So there's now a kind of active boycott, and I think there's a few different kind of media outlets on YouTube and other kind of media platforms that have been kind of promoting and stoking this boycott of Bud Light products. To the point is that they've actually finally kind of released some sales figures. So apparently the sales figures of Bud Light fell 17% in the week ending April the 15th compared to the same week in 2022, according to analysis of the NIQ data compiled by Bump Williams Consulting. I think they did this for the Wall Street Journal, I think it was, that they actually compiled this for. But yes, so basically their sales are down 17% from the previous year of that period. But also what is interesting as well is that the sales of the rivals, Miller Lite and Coors Light, each of their sales have grown nearly 18% compared to the same week of the previous year as well. So while during that period Bud Light sales have fallen by 17%, Coors Light and Miller Lite, their sales have grown by nearly 18% from the year previous as well for that period. So it just shows you that they really have backfired, they really have kind of shot themselves in the foot. My kind of view on it, well, I'll be totally honest, I'm not a big thing about advertising anyway. If uh, if I see an advert, I'll take the information that I need from it. Like if it's a new beer launched, I'll see, right, okay, it's a new beer launch, blum blum blum, right, there's the name of it, right. I'll keep that in my mind and that type of stuff for, you know, further review later on, and I'll see if we can try and get a hold of it for maybe to doing a beer review. I don't really take much more from the adverts apart from the basic information, but that's me for most adverts. I don't believe the hype, and I don't basically fall into all the kind of the bullshit and the crap. That's just reality for me. Other people, well, maybe they swallow it hook, line, and sinker. I don't know, but for me, it doesn't really matter. What I would say is that Bud Light is a load of piss, Coors Light is a load of piss, and Miller Lite is a load of piss. In fact, I remember Miller Lite was used to be quite popular in Scotland, and at one point, I think it was in my kind of late 20s, early 30s, it was kind of popular, and a lot of people were drinking Miller Lite, and it was rammed down everybody's throat, and it was available in multi-packs, always on sale and everything else, and people were buying slabs of it, I remember. And of course, you'd go to barbecues and you bring your own beer, and they would, oh, cheers very much, I'll put them in the fridge for you, and do you want a beer? And the next minute, okay, and then oof, you stand there with a Miller Lite can in your hand thinking, you fucker, seriously. You maybe brought round, you know, a nice pack of beer and that type of stuff, and it's that usual thing, we'll keep the good beer for later on when you're all fucked off home. There's the piss water, you know, cheeky fuckers, you know, so that's all I used to remember about Miller Lite. You're thinking, Jesus, I'm not coming to your barbecue again because you keep giving me cans of piss water. So yes, I'm not a big fan of Miller Lite, Coors Light or Bud Light, and I certainly would not even think about reviewing it in my beer channel just because I don't really class it much as beer. It doesn't really have much flavour, it doesn't have much body, it doesn't have really much anything, especially calories. So yeah, and I'll be totally honest, I would never be one of their core customers. So, but I don't really care who's holding the bottle and who's kind of promoting it. For me, it's irrelevant. At the end of the day, right, there's a new beer out, right, give us the facts about it, boom, 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 right, I'll see if I can get it and I'll get round to reviewing it. That's it. I don't give a shit who's holding the bottle. And to be totally honest, like I said, I'd be more worried what's in the bottle than who's holding it when it comes to Bud Light, Coors Light or Miller Lite from that point of view. But it's horses for courses, and just because I'm not into it doesn't mean other people aren't, and they're quite entitled to drink what they want from my point of view. As for companies and marketing, well, it's all a load of bullshit anyway, isn't it? It's all the cases of horses for courses. Do I agree with the boycott and the backlash about it? I'll be totally honest, I don't care. I honestly don't give a shit. If people don't want to drink Bud Light, don't drink Bud Light. People want to drink Bud Light, then drink Bud Light. I don't give a shit what reason they want to do either. Oh, I don't want to drink Bud Light because of this, and what? Well, I drink Bud Light because it's this, and what? I don't care. So you can shove up your ass for all I care. But apparently what I do care about is I don't like politicising products, and I don't like politicising in beer and lots of other things that people just want to enjoy. If you want to basically enjoy something, I don't like this idea that companies choose to kind of politicise things to try and gain sales or whatever, and things like that. It doesn't matter. It's very strange. If I'm putting a bottle to my lips, or anybody else is putting a bottle to their lips, it's because they're looking to basically enjoy the taste of the beer. It doesn't matter what your kind of social background is, or your gender, or God knows what. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's whether you basically take a drink of that beer and you think, that's a nice beer, or, oh God, that's piss water, is it fucking Carling? But anyway, that's the thing that's more important, in my view. So I don't give a crap. At the end of the day, this world's gone mad, and I'm not, well, it's a circus now. I'm not buying a ticket for this circus. I'm not interested. People can act like clowns and do what they want, but I just don't like the politicising of all this nonsense, and I think that enough's enough from that point of view. Stop ramming basically your kind of allegiances and that down everybody's throat. It's a beer, and that's all it is. It's a beer. It's not a life choice. It's not a lifestyle affiliation. It's a fucking beer. You know, just get over it, for fuck's sake. It's just world mental, so it is. There's a lot worse things going on in the world, and this idea of politicising things is just daft. And I think people have had enough of it. I think people are sick of all the kind of politicising different things in their life. They just want a break from it all. You know, they switch on the TV and they get basically political views left, right and centre, and if you buy something then it's a political allegiance, it's an affiliation to some sort of kind of political cause or activism or whatever, or protest, and you're thinking, oh, for God's sake, you know. It's a case of you've got people who drive the same car as you that are trying to make you feel guilty because you're putting diesel in that car, and you're thinking, well, wait a minute, you drive a diesel car, so why are you telling me I'm a bad person? That means you're a bad person. Well, electric cars are expensive, so I can't afford to buy one. If I could afford to buy one, I would. Well, maybe other people are the same. But it's this whole idea of, like, if you buy something or if you have something or if you use something and other people don't like it, then it's a case as though you have to feel guilty and they want to make you feel bad about it and everything else, which really should only be held for basically Carling drinkers. That's the only people that should be feeling bad. People that buy that shit. But I think it's a case. I mean, what do you think? If you want to leave your kind of views in the comments, what do you think? Do you think basically that things are just becoming far too politicised and there's no need for it? And at the end of the day, just let people have that freedom to pick and choose what they want, without kind of basically feeling that, well, they've got to be this or they've got to be that, or they've got to basically be part of this tribe or that tribe. Because I think it's too tribal nowadays. I mean, it's a case of just let people do what they want to do to a certain degree. If they're not harming anybody, like drinking beer, then I don't see the problem of it. But yeah, this idea of, well, I can only basically get young drinkers interested in a product if I basically do it this way. Well, my view is, are young drinkers going to be interested in a product like that? This is the problem, is usually you find that when there's new up and coming kind of customer base, and a lot of times they're not interested in the kind of older style products. They want something kind of more new and suited to them. So maybe that's a situation for Bud Light. If you want to bring in kind of new customer base from the younger generations, then maybe provide a product for them that they might actually be interested in, something that's more kind of geared for them, rather than, well, let's take an older product that's drunk by older men and women, and then basically get a young influencer to kind of try and make it more trendy. I think that was always going to be a bad idea anyway. Most younger generations want something that's more kind of geared for them, rather than basically repackaging an existing older based product. And that's what I usually find anyway. I remember when I was younger, I wasn't interested in the kind of drinks that older people were drinking. I wanted to kind of try new, young and up and coming stuff. That turned out to be piss water. But such is life. We live and learn. Every day is a school day, as they say. But yeah, I think that would probably be a better thing if you want to get it, attract younger drinkers to your brand. Anheuser, Busch, and Bev. Then why not basically come out with some beer products that are more attuned for the younger generations, and that would be easier, that type of stuff, you know. So it's a kind of laziness. Tell you what, I'm going to change the world by just kind of painting the wall a different colour. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. But anyway, let us know what you think about the kind of politicisation of products and everything else, and whether you agree with it or don't. and let us know what you think of breweries cashing in and profiteering on different kind of social events that they feel that they can make a quick buck. I know, understand business is business and everything else, but there's got to be a kind of a cut-off point, and there's got to be a bit of kind of humility, thinking, well, we're ripping the piss now with some of the pricing. And also, what do you think about online, especially brewers, with their shops, their online shops, is should they make it more easy for people to buy multiple products as part of an order, rather than having to buy a stack load of one product and a stack load of another product, when all of them wanted some samples just to try and things like that. So what's your views on that? And give us your views on the Unshaven Maiden, and would you buy a beer that has an association with a sexual activity? Oh, bugger me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.